So she'll be dead.
No, the girls are gone.
Even is dying as well?
Yeah, all got main.
How long is this? That's the I thought. They do have
Yeah.
meters.
Yeah, I gotta run a camera.
I felt bad just go into you guys. Because that's basically just trying to build a career off for Instagram.
Maybe Danny comes and says, I want to make y'all people.
One, two. 1, 2. Check. 1, 2. 1, 2. Check, 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 check. Check, check. Check, check, check. Can you hear me? Check, check. Check, check. Check, 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 check. 1, 2. 1, 2. I'm filling out the... I am filling out everything. Filling out, filling out. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Johanna, it's hard to spell. How'd you score that women's fight? That's the greatest women's fight I've ever seen in my life. That's the best fight of the year. Like, what was better than that? Going to make it public. Going to make it public. Going to make it public. Casey, give me a thumbs up if we're good to go public. Okay.
You didn't do anything. Romero did shit except for a couple punches here.
He really emptied a point, but he didn't really engage. Listen, both of them, both of them took something. He posted it. I thought Joanna won.
It was close. I had Jamie Jean.
What's up, everyone? Jose Ancio, MAfighting.com. You can't see her, but sitting next to me is, of course, Alex Savas, my partner in crime this week. As I adjust my cam, we are live on scenes at the UFC 248 post-fight press conference where we just saw Israel Adesanya defend his UFC middleweight championship with a decision. I wouldn't call it I wouldn't call it a decision. Adesanya is still champion. Yoel Romero came up short in the co-main event. Pretty much the opposite. Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili defended her UFC strawweight championship of the world with a decision win over Joanna, former champion. And what Alex and I both agree, as I move this microphone over to her, and you may not be able to see her, but here. Alex, I think we're both in agreement that Joanna or Zhang champion gets top billing. Zhang Weili versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk is probably the greatest female fight I've ever seen. That's top 10 fights in general I've ever seen.
I can't imagine anybody topping that anytime soon. I mean, sitting back here in the media tent, everyone, I mean, it was hands up, cheering, gasping. I mean, just the reactions were nonstop. You couldn't look away for even a second.
I gave up trying to score the round after the second round. Like, Watching it, it seemed like Joanna was eating up. With a leg kick, it was unreal, and like it was clearly doing damage to Wiley, but Wiley would not only eat them, but like land several hard shots in return, including eating up that leg. Joanna and Jacek's head is one of the most swollen messes I've seen ever. So
I mean, two of the toughest fighters, not just women in MMA. The list of people who could withstand that is very limited. Props to both of them. I
have a concussion watching.
I know. Once Joanna's head blew up, every time Zhang tagged her, I'm like, God, I just don't. Oh, I can't.
Imagine though, we're gonna jump up to the main event because we could talk about the co-main event for a long time.
Right.
Imagine living in a world where you boo Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero. Like Yoel Romero came out and basically just stood there for like a minute while Izzy was like, what's going on right here? And he was like trying to find an opening, and then when he looked for an opening, he ate a massive shot in the first round, and he was like, oh, this fight could end in a second if I eat more of these. So it was like a very measured, tactical approach where it was like he was trying to find an opening, but he clearly couldn't find one against the center block that is Yoel Romero. And I think Izzy was trying to find a way in the whole time. This is my perspective, sitting octagon side. I didn't watch it through, so I couldn't follow it. But like it looked like Izzy was like trying to find his way in. He was eating up that leg, clearly. And then Yoel would like explode for like a couple shots and not land much, but he would land a few things and shoot him for takedowns and get stuffed. And then people are booing Izzy for not pushing the pace, and I'm just like, I don't understand the logic in that. I think people are just upset that Israel Adesanya didn't have another performance like he did last fight. This is not the kind of performance he needed, but nonetheless he won. What did you make of that fight?
If Romero doesn't give him an opening to attack, isn't that a plus for Romero?
Yeah, it is. But what was he doing with it? That's the argument we have. It's like he wasn't giving Adesanya anything to work with, right? That is clearly like a check mark in his column. Like he is not allowing Romero to fight. He's not allowing Israel Adesanya to fight the style of fight he wants. On the other hand, Israel Adesanya is looking and pushing the pace and actually throwing offense. And when he is missing, Romero isn't always taking advantage. He's basically trying to win by eating punches, by eating kicks, by doing a lot of things. So the argument is there. We've seen it a million times. Like, what wins fights? Pushing the pace or defense? I don't agree with Romero saying, like, that's the kind of champion you want. Fans paid to fight. I'm like, it takes two to tango, my friend.
Right, and it's not like we see this all the time from Adesanya.
We've literally never seen this from Israel Adesanya.
It's not the kind of champion he is. It's not something that's going to be the new norm, I'm sure.
Not just not the norm. This is one of the more, I put this up there with Lewis and Ngannou, where it was like we came, not in terms of like, both fights, like that fight was rough to watch because they just looked at each other for 15 minutes, but like it came in with so much hype, and it clearly didn't live up to the expectations. But
that's not the fight that Adesanya wanted either. He doesn't want to win that way. I'm
gonna open the YouTube comments here in a second as Casey adjusts the microphone.
Thanks, Casey.
Thank you, Casey. Apparently we're not speaking loud enough. My voice is lost.
If you didn't know, we're in a tent and it's very windy outside.
Windy. It's windy. The planes are going overhead. Hello to all 5,000 of you. Literal resident sleeper. Joanna won. I actually had Wiley winning. How did you score that? Did you even try?
I didn't score long, no.
I thought it was 3-2. I thought Joanna won the first two, and then I think Wiley might have won the last three. I can't quite remember. It feels like one 25-minute round.
No. People on Twitter were shocked that Zhang's corner picked her up and carried her to the corner.
Yeah, Michael Bisping was tweeting about that.
Yeah, that's not the best way.
Yeah. It is real weird. But let's go back to the main event. Did you score that? Did you think Israel Adesanya won? Did you think Romero won?
For me, watching on the broadcast, I thought Romero won.
Yeah, I think seeing a lot of people online, it was pretty 50-50.
Yeah.
Like who won? Do you remember which rounds you had? I had him winning. I had Romero winning the first 2 and Israel winning the last 3. So basically similar to what Jones. People that the judges thought Reyes won the first 2 and then maybe Jones won the last 3.
Yeah.
But I had similar, but I think Romero clearly won the first 2 and then Israel Adesanya won the last 3. But it wasn't the most exciting fight nonetheless. So in the YouTube comment section, you tell us who you think won, Yoel Romero or Israel Adesanya.
I'm only going to give you a bit.
As we're joined by Oscar Willis of the Match.
live streaming.
We are live streaming.
Well, first of all, let's fix that haircut.
You want to put my hair next to your hair? Which is better?
Okay, maybe not.
Who do you think won? Main event.
No one.
Besides that.
Adesanya probably.
Yeah,
I don't understand how Romero can do a 20-minute sermon about, you got to come here to fight when it's like, well, where the fuck were you 10 minutes ago? You were in it. You could have done
It
that.
takes 2 to tango, my friend. He also stood still for 60 seconds in the first round.
I think, to be honest, both of them just looked at each other and went, well, what the fuck do I do with you? I think they both didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, not that I agree with it, but the old adage is you got to beat the champ to take the belt, as it were.
I hate that. But
So do I, but if you're going to use that sort of attitude, Romero didn't, so it's pretty...
Do you remember how you scored it? Which rounds for what? I had Romero.
Gave first 2 to Romero, last 3 to Adesanya.
Same. But I watched it sitting octagon side. I think Romero was clearly like frustrating Izzy, but the sounds of Izzy's leg kicks are what resonated with me. Like he would be like, well, I can't kick him in the face or stomach. I might as well just eat his leg up.
Yeah, I think if Yoel was human, those legs would have dropped. The leg kicks would have eventually finished him, but obviously he isn't.
A lot of people saying Izzy won in the comment section.
Yeah, I think he did.
But if Romero had won, would it have been a quote unquote robbery?
It would have been not a robbery, but it would have been a travesty to lose the world title like that.
It would have.
But I was talking to someone else in here, and it's like, if you're Yoel Romero, can you really go home and being like, I just put my bollocks on the line for 25 minutes, I gave it everything. I don't understand how you can go home and be like, I fucking came to win that title. I just don't really get it.
I don't either. I'm curious how Israel Adesanya feels after kicking that human being for 25
I want to
minutes.
ask him, I'm like, does he actually feel like concrete now you kicked him?
One of us should ask him that.
It feels like fighting a turtle, really, because like he's so like bodied up and his arms are so like, where do you hit him that doesn't hurt you?
Romero 125. Romero 125.
Romero 125.
Is this the new Santos? Everyone says Santos won 125. It's John Jones. I'll tell you what though, John Jones and Israel Adesanya might have lost both of their last fights.
I don't think Izzy lost this fight.
I don't either, but a lot of people are thinking Romero won.
I think that's silly.
MMA is silly sometimes. Sometimes.
I like that today we got literally the both polar opposites of like 2 women beating the living fuck out of each other for our entertainment, and then 2 lads doing nothing.
The whole card was good though.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Phenomenal. I had a real good time on this main fight.
Joanna versus Zhang.
That's the greatest women's fight I've ever seen in my
One of
life.
the best fights ever.
That's the greatest fight so far in 2020.
Sure.
The best fight. Like I liked Felder Hooker, I liked Jones Reyes, but man, that main event. I mean, that co-main event tonight of Zhang Weili and Joanna Jędrzejczyk was one of the most high-level striking matches. That feels like one 25-minute round with like a break now.
Well, I like the fact that they were so technically equal that they were basically throwing the exact same combination at each other at the exact same time.
Yeah, it was like watching a mirror.
And then in the clinch, like they were so good at fighting for the underhooks. It was really like high-level stuff, quality stuff. I'd love to see Rose versus Zhang.
If Rose wins, she's got to be Andrade first.
Yeah, but I'd like to see it.
I want to see Tatiana Suarez fight
Oh,
her.
fuck, they can do that. They just do the rematch. Okay, I'll watch that again.
Yeah, I would watch that. It depends on how that, obviously, the co-main event at UFC 249
Also,
plays out.
let's see if Joanna's all right. Like,
Yeah, her head was very
she
swollen.
literally was disfigured.
Literally. Izzy 125. Izzy 125. How do you give Izzy the first round?
Are they not doing the meme of like fucking Nick Diaz 125? Are they not just doing that to fuck him, really?
Maybe, but I think the argument for Romero winning 125, I think is there. I think he clearly won the first 2.
Yeah,
and then the 5, he was like sort of sprinting it. Adesanya, like that's one where he literally.
There was a bit where he just ran out of the cage.
Yeah.
Also, how good was his English in his post-fight speech?
Yeah,
What was
shocking.
that guy at Media Day?
It's like he didn't want to talk to us or something. But you tell us who you think won the main event. A lot of Izzy bolts. Israel 345, 125 Yoel.
champions.
A lot of people saying it's pretty 50-50. Izzy 345, Izzy 235, Izzy 2345. So
It's Bolt. That's clever. It's saying Bolt.
Usain Bolt,
Because he
yeah.
ran away.
Yeah, Izzy Bolt. Thank you, Oscar Willis of the Mac Life. Of course, my name is Jose Youngs. That was Oscar Willis, Alex Savage sitting next to me. We have a lot of excellent content. You can find us on Instagram, MMA Fighting, DOTCOM. You can see all of Esther Lynn's phenomenal photographs all night. She really got some really excellent ones in the Beneil Dariush fight and the Joanna Wiley Zhang or Zhang. Casey Leiden, our camera extraordinaire, is on the camera, doing full production. This looks pretty phenomenal. Teamwork makes the dream work, as I always say. But you tell us, John Cena won round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, guy. Champion moving backwards. Literally, I hate that argument because he's just playing the counter striker. Like Anderson Silva was a counter striker for like 8 years, and he fought off his back foot. Israel 2, 3, 4, 5 octagon aggression. Take a point for the eye poke and Romero wins. Yeah, but he didn't take it. Fight was trash. I hate that. It's like he ate one punch, and then he's like, fuck. Can't do this all day. Imagine calling Israel Adesanya chicken, like this person did. I don't get it.
One fight
And
does
we're
not
putting
a
up
fight
a photo of Yoel Romero's legs after seeing what Israel Adesanya did, chewing those up. I don't know how it came off the broadcast, but those leg kicks were just like, it sounded like a whip.
Yeah, we heard him on the replay in real time.
It sounded like a whip, like just based off of that, unbelievable. Of course, there's other performance on the card. Neil Magny got back to the win column after not a 2 year long layoff. Beneil Dariush knocked out Drakkar Close.
Sean O'Malley.
The return of Sugar Sean O'Malley. He ran through Jose Quinones. Said he's down to fight whenever. Gave a thumbs down to Brian Kelleher. Said next.
Oh.
Haters, man. Yeah, Sean O'Malley's in a unique position where he's popular enough where he can really call when he wants to fight, where he wants to fight. He seems very interested in fighting during International Fight Week, something like that. And I asked him, like, what about a 5-round fight? Like, what if they came at you with a fight night main event? He'd be like, and he kind of like, it seemed like he hadn't thought about it, before. Like, oh, maybe I could headline. He's like, yeah, they could come at me like with like a fight night card I could headline on ESPN. Like, I'd be down for that.
I've seen worse headliners.
Sean O'Malley versus like Cheeto Vera. If Cheeto Vera wins or John Dodson, I think that might be a little too much for O'Malley right now.
Not a lot of people can do what he did, taking 2 years off and not taking 2 years off, but being gone for 2 years and all the fans sticking with him, like he said.
It's a unique breed. John Jones, of course, had those long layoffs and came back, beat DC. George St. Pierre took like how many years off? 4. Came back and won 4 or 5 years off. Conor McGregor took a whole bunch of time off, came back and lost to Khabib, but then ran through Cowboy a year later. So it's a unique breed. Dominic Cruz, like perfect example. So it wasn't even a USADA suspension. At least like Sugar Sean had some injuries and was banged up and had some surgeries, but he was still in camp when the USADA situation happened. But Dominic Cruz had like knee injuries, shoulder injuries, like basically the bionic man right now.
And what's great is I think earlier this week, Sugar Sean said that he doesn't think that his fans forgot about him, but they might have forgotten about how good he was.
Yeah.
And this was the perfect way to remind everybody just how good he is.
The future is bright for Sugar Sean. Clearly, he said he put on like 10 pounds in the last 2 years. Like he usually would enter fight week at like 145, got down to 135, but entered at like 153, 156, something crazy like that. And
yeah, that could have been way worse.
He said that the muscle was there, like his nutritionist, his personal trainer, like put him on this regimen that built muscle for a purpose. So like he felt better as Esther Lynn returns. I feel you. But you let us know who you think won the main event. All 13,000. If you think Izzy won, right, Izzy. If you think Yoel won, right, Yoel. As the performance of the night's bonus is right here. Gate is $2,742,906.20. The attendance was 15,077. Fight of the night, Zhang Wiley versus Yuan and Jacek. And performance of the night's Beneil Dariush and Sugar Sean O'Malley. Can't argue with any of that. Were there any other performances that really could have? Oh, Rodolfo maybe got that submission win. No. Bob Guerrero at the very first fight of the night.
Yeah, he was good.
You had that violent win, but I think they got it right this time. O'Malley, Dariush, and then Zhang Wiley and Yuan.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, they weren't. They got him right. There's no argument there.
Yeah.
That Dariush fight was awesome. Rock him, sock him at the end before he finished her car close.
It looked like
Esther,
pissed him off.
is Casey Leiden chiming in? I can't hear you, Casey. Let me put on my headphones. Say something. I can't hear.
Oh, I don't think he was talking.
Oh, I saw his mouth moving.
Oh, I mean, not the second time. Maybe he's just fucking around.
Maybe. Casey just had to be. He needed his mustache seen. We can't hear you, Casey.
No audio.
No audio from Casey. I don't know. We're not quite sure, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. I'm not quite sure who's next. I would imagine. Do you think Zhang Wiley went to the hospital?
I would think so. I don't know, honestly.
I mean, it's Esther Lynn working on her photos next year. It's quite the sight to behold. Who did you think won the fight, Esther?
I don't know, was it a draw?
Really?
I gave it to Izzy, but like.
Those leg kicks were what I'm saying in the house. They were loud.
They were very, very bad. I think I showed.
Casey put up the picture of Yoel's legs.
Yeah,
he
they
threw
were
that
all
up on the
lumpy.
broadcast.
He was very lumpy. I just don't think that you can just be like, you should have run at me.
Yoel also was just standing there for like.
There was good. The fans like in the audience like immediately gravitated towards Yoel. It's like you're not bringing the fight either. You don't.
Takes two to tango.
Exactly right. You don't. You know, get complain if. Yeah. Plus, everyone knows that you do weird shit with big games and stuff, and it's like you shouldn't expect somebody to want to play those games with you.
Like Izzy did that when he was trying to find the opening at the beginning and ate that massive punch.
Yeah.
In the very first round.
Yeah.
And then Izzy was literally like, "Oh, like I just got hit by a brick."
Yeah. Let's do that again. But then every leg kick that landed, Yoel was like.
And then his mouth is wide open in that photo.
Yeah.
Pretty.
I don't know. It's just so weird. This one was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it just like. I don't know.
We can't hear Casey. Keeps trying to. I can't hear you, Casey. I'm sorry. Jane was transported, says our own Damon Martin. Jeremy Cruz says belt should be vacant. Disagree. Jed says Yoel going full statue mode was actually awesome and enough reason to win the fight alone.
No, that is.
If I told you if I said someone wrote this, who do you think would say that?
Jed.
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking troll.
You don't say.
He's my coworker, but he's a fucking troll.
Yoel won the argument. That's what someone said. The comments are coming in very fast. Joanna was robbed. I don't agree with that. How did you score the co-main event, Esther?
3-2.
Wiley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the fight of the year so far for you?
It's pretty fucking good.
It felt like 125-minute round.
Yeah.
It felt like 25. Like I can't picture like rounds right now.
Yeah, it did have like a kind of seamless feel to it.
You know what's crazy is that they were so similar.
That's what Oscar was saying. It felt like they would always mirror each other.
They landed on each other constantly at the same time.
Yes. And it felt like when Wiley would go for punches and Joanna would, because Joanna was so good at like closing the distance and then breaking and pop, 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 and then landing with a leg kick.
Yeah.
And when she would do that, Wiley would just counter it with just a massive punch and like a knee.
Yeah.
So like their counters were counters for each other. That felt like everyone kept saying the main event was like a chess match. The co-main event was like a violent chess match where they were constantly trying to find an opening, but it was the opposite style. Like they were throwing punches, and maybe one slips in, but they were blocking and unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was one of the most high level. That was the most high level female striking match I've ever seen in the UFC.
It was beautiful.
That fight tonight we saw the first fight of John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson is going to be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame in the fight wing. I think that fight against Wiley and Joanna will eventually go in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, that'll eventually be there.
Greatest fight in the history of women's MMA. You can, of course, go find Esther's excellent work on our Instagram and Twitter. I'm going as fast as I can, trying to get some of her photos up there.
I'm about to overwrite a bunch of them right now by exporting the whole 27.
Well, I'm going to wait, because those look phenomenal. I like that one of Izzy pointing, or of Romero pointing.
Yeah, they're both pointing. They're pointing right after
What's up,
each other.
Izzy
guys?
was scared.
All right. The gate was 2.75 million. There were 15,077 in attendance. The fight of the night, no-brainer, co-main event, Joanna and Zhang. Beneil and O'Malley got the other bonuses, 50 grand. And then the 50-50 raffle tonight raised $52,000, and that's for 3 Square Food Bank here in Las Vegas. Who's got the first question?
Dana, main event was a bit odd to say the least. Not, I guess, maybe what we were hoping for.
Yeah.
Where do you lay blame on that? What's your take on why that fight played out the way it did?
Well, there's two things. That was a tough act to follow after the co-main event, and then I believe that Israel Adesanya fights to the level of his opponent. The Anderson Silva fight was similar to that. And then you think about the Gastelum fight was a war. You know, Gastelum goes after him and tries to take his head off. Whitaker's going after him, trying to take his head off. That fight was great. And you better believe that Paulo Costa's going to go after him. And that fight should be ridiculous. Yeah. You know, I expected Yoel Romero. You heard all week. I was literally talking more about the co-main event than I was the main event. I knew that fight was going to be ridiculous. You have these two incredibly talented savages who wanted that belt more than anything. And, you know, I didn't know if there was going to be a knockout or a submission or something like that, but I knew I was begging people to watch that fight. You know me, man. When I sell fights, I don't beg anybody to watch anything. I was literally begging people to watch this fight. And it was incredible. But I think that, what I was saying is I'm shocked that Romero knew this was his last opportunity at a world championship. I thought he was going to come out like a bat out of hell, put tons of pressure on him, shoot takedowns, go for, try to knock him out. He did literally none of that. So if you're Adesanya, he fought the smart fight. You stay on the outside. He chopped that leg apart, and he picked his punches and did what he did. Romero did a lot of moving around and acting like I'm trying to fight, but he never really did.
Costa was back here earlier tonight, and he said that he thought the tentative plan was July 11th for that fight.
Yeah. He's got to calm down. I want to hear from a doctor. Again, they told me that he went crazy tonight and jumped over the gate and was going crazy. We threw him out, and I just had to calm those guys down in the back. He wants this fight so bad. When he's healthy, and a doctor calls me and tells me, not his like friend from Brazil, when a doctor calls me and tells me that he's healthy, we'll make this fight. This is the fight to make. This is the fight that I want to see. And I guarantee you, when that fight happens, you'll hear me going crazy about that one. That fight's going to be ridiculous because Paulo Costa will move forward. He will not stop punching. He's going to throw big shots and try to knock him out, and Israel will fight.
Nice. The co-main event, as you said, I mean, one of the greatest fights I think we've ever seen. I want to ask you, I mean, when a fight's that good, as a promoter, it seems like the easy thing to be would say, let's run it back again, because who wouldn't sign up to see them fight again? Do you look at that as an option, or does it not make sense?
Did you see what those two girls look like after that fight, man? They're both in the hospital right now. They did not go to a press conference. They did not talk to press. They both went straight to the hospital. They need to go home, take time, heal up, and everything else before I even mention a fight with either one of them again, you know?
Nice. And last thing for me, Dana, there were reports of an incident backstage involving Brian Ortega. Do you have any details?
There was a lot of crazy shit going on tonight. It was weird. Yeah, him and the Zombie got in a fight, which is completely unlike both of their personalities. And Zombie doesn't even speak English, so I don't know what the hell he could have said that would get Ortega to start going crazy. But, yeah, it was weird.
Were there, like, punches thrown? Or?
I guess so. It happened right over in the fighter section. It wasn't backstage, right? It wasn't backstage, was it? No, it was over in the fighter section. It happened during the fight.
Wow. Any legal involvement, or just kind of fighters,
listen,
guys fighting?
Yeah, we don't want anybody getting arrested.
Thanks, Dave.
Dana, right here. Just to elaborate on the co-main event a little bit, I mean, you had said, as you mentioned, coming into this fight, that you were more excited for this than anything on the card. Is this, the best women's MMA fight you've ever seen?
It's one of the best fights I've ever seen. But yes, yeah, I think so. Right here off the top of my head, I would have to say yes, best women's fight I've ever seen, one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Can you give us any insight on the level of interest in China for Weili in this fight?
This show performed very well everywhere. This show killed it. And I got to say this. I was telling Ioli this earlier, man. I love our fans. Our fans are awesome. You think about the stuff that's going on right now, and one of these reporters tried to say something about this the other day at the thing, and they booed him out of the place. Everybody showed our ticket sales this week were exactly like a regular week, and the walk-up was huge tonight. Matchmakers about that one and see if we all agree. I don't just say I'm going to do this. I talk to them, and then we talk about it, we argue, and then we figure out what's right.
And last thing outside of this card, we saw Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski both in the crowd, and they kind of got the split screen treatment on the in-house thing. Is that fight close, that rematch close to being done?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I think so. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
That'd be in Perth.
Yeah. Thank you. Who's next? Kev?
Right over here, Dana.
Oh. Hey.
During the years that you've been promoting fights, you've built a lot of champions and built a lot of careers. What are some of the challenges you think moving forward with a guy like Israel after a performance like tonight? And what do you think is going to be so easy about promoting Zhang Weili in the future based on her performance tonight?
Yeah, listen, he wanted Romero on his resume. He got it. He won the fight. And you take these things fight by fight. Listen, if anybody thinks I'm wrong, raise your hand right now and we can talk about it. The Costa fight's going to be insane. The Costa fight will be ridiculous. Costa will come forward. He will throw big punches. He will throw combinations. He will not stop punching. And Israel Adesanya is going to have to fight him. And I'm telling you right now, just like I told you, Weili Zhang and Joanna was going to be insane, Costa versus Adesanya will be a ridiculous fight. I guarantee it. I absolutely, positively guarantee it. So he got what he wanted. He got him on his resume. He beat him. And on to Costa.
A lot of us think that Adesanya is sort of on the cusp of being one of the biggest superstars that you guys have in the sport. You've seen a lot of guys come and go, GSPs, Anderson Silvas, and then there's other guys like Demetrius Johnson that maybe don't take off, but they're great. At what point do you really start to see these champions evolve from, just being a champion to, a world-class superstar?
Well, again, I think that, you continue to fight and you continue to win. When he goes into the Costa fight, he'll be 19-0. And then whoever comes out of that Romero-Costa fight, the winner, either one of those guys are going to be big stars. If Costa beats Israel Adesanya, he's going to blow up in Brazil. Then it starts to spill over into the other countries, you know. And obviously, if Adesanya beats Costa, it will be in spectacular fashion because Costa's going to try to decapitate him.
Thank you.
I can't wait for that fight, if you can't tell. When I'm sitting here today talking about this, the matchmakers didn't love that fight and didn't want to make that fight. They did not want to make Romero versus Adesanya. But the goofy fan in me said, "Are you shitting me? Come on, this will be a fun fight to do." And the fact that he wants to fight a guy that nobody else wants to fight, now, hindsight is 2020. Probably shouldn't have done that fight. We should have waited for Costa, but oh well, we did it.
What was their rationale that they didn't want to make the fight?
That I didn't? Oh, they didn't? They
didn't.
said it doesn't make sense. You can't tell the matchmakers anything that doesn't make sense. Everything has to make sense to those two, you know?
How did you score the women's fight?
Fuck, Kevin, I was so into that fight. I didn't really score it, but me and Downey Jr. were like giddy little girls getting ready for that fight. And I think when it went in, I think we were both feeling like it was even going into the 5th round. But I honestly couldn't tell you. I didn't really score it. I was just caught up in it.
Obviously, Joanna had a good fight against Michelle Waterson the last time, but do you feel like she raised her game even tonight to get to where she was?
Joanna has looked. She comes to fight. She's incredibly talented. She comes to win. She comes to hurt you. She comes to bust you up. And, you know, she's one of the baddest to ever do it.
And Wei Lee's, her eye was closing, I think, in the first round, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
She showed a lot of toughness in the fight, too. I mean, obviously she got battered as the fight went on, but even early on when she couldn't see, she was still moving forward.
Well, not only toughness, her cardio was unbelievable. That was her first time ever into championship rounds, and she looked damn good in those rounds. And what was weird is the first round, it looked like her face started getting whatever, and this eye was swelling up a little bit, but then boom, all of a sudden, Joanna looked way worse than Weili. And I was like, God damn. When did that happen?
Have you had a chance to talk to Yoel? And did he say anything to you afterward?
No, I didn't talk to him.
Do you have any thought on what would possess a guy at 42 years old, knowing how many title fights he's had, to fight that way?
Right from the bell, he came out and just stood there with his hands up. Right. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I thought he was going to come out like a madman.
You were pretty pissed off in Abu Dhabi after the Anderson Silva Demian Maia fight. Was your level of disappointment the same with this one as you were after that?
Yeah, this was a terrible fight. I mean, if you look at the UFC as a whole, for as long as we've been doing it, you can literally put in one hand shitty fights that we've done. You know what I mean? And it takes two to fight, man. If somebody goes out there and doesn't want to engage and doesn't want to fight, and if you're a guy like if you're a guy like Adesanya, he's got so much more on the line. If this is the way the guy's acting, he's going to stay back and he's going to pick him apart the way that he did. That leg was destroyed. We'll see when he comes walking in tonight when you guys see him. I'm sure he's not going to be, he's not going to have a pep in his step tonight. That leg is hurting. And, Adesanya did what he had to do, in my opinion. Why run in there and go crazy against a guy that dangerous when that guy's not fighting at all?
Last thing I wanted to ask you is you announced UFC 165 going into the Hall of Fame tonight, and I couldn't help but think the next fight that you had in the cage afterwards was Joanna and Weili, and you have to think that fight may someday be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that was that caliber fight, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's definitely a Hall of Fame fight, 100%. I mean, I'm sure you guys had the same thing. My phone was going crazy during that fight. Everybody was blowing me up, saying it's the greatest fight they've ever seen. Who's next?
Hey, Dan, on you right here.
Fight, something like that. And she ended up fighting. She was in line for the title to fight Jessica Andrade, who is an absolute beast. And we were saying, is she ready for her? We don't know, but she's next in line. Let's do it. So we decided to do it. and the result was incredible. Tonight, she went in against the best ever from that division, right? The woman who built that division, defended the title 5 times, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk came in ridiculous, incredible shape. The amount of experience she has over Weili Zhang is massive, and you saw how good she looked tonight. I only expect her to get better, look better, and I think she made a lot of fans tonight, you know? She got a good pop from the crowd when she walked out. The fans were behind her, and she murdered it in China, which is more important to me than the U.S. You know, great people like her in the U.S. I love it, and I want people to like her everywhere, but China was a huge success. We will continue to move her around and do. There's a certain pattern when you're building somebody and you're trying to build them into a star. There's a pattern in what you do. We did it with Conor McGregor. We've done it with Ronda. We've done it with all the greats, and we're going to do it with her.
Dana over here.
Yep.
This was Zhang Weili's first big pay-per-view event, first pay-per-view ever. Also, she had to deal with the whole coronavirus and all the media and all that. Can you just talk about? I know she had an amazing performance. Can you talk about how she dealt with everything outside of?
Yeah, you know, she had to deal with. She went to Thailand first, then she had to go over to Abu Dhabi, then she came here, and once she got here, she needed to be here early anyway, which I don't think her team really knew. You need to get to Vegas early to acclimate for the time, the weather. It's super dry here, and it messes with fighters. So it ended up being perfect that we got her in here earlier. The other things that she had to deal with was the pressure. She knows who the hell she's fighting. She knows who Joanna Jędrzejczyk is and what she's capable of. And the other thing she dealt with pretty well too, but you could tell she was uncomfortable with it, was the mind games that Joanna plays. Joanna started trying to play the mind games with her and everything else. This was her first time going 5 rounds. She dealt with a lot of shit, you're right, and she handled it like a true champion.
And you know, we have an American perspective, obviously being here in America, but I know you guys have probably done your research in as far as like the Chinese market. How big of a star can she be?
She's going to be a massive star. You know, just like the fighting sport is so crazy, you got to keep winning. If you keep winning, you're going to be a star. Even guys we had a hard time. Used to terrorize me all the time back in the day saying, when is Anderson Silva going to become a star? When is Anderson Silva going to do this? When is Anderson Silva going to do that? Then he kicked Vitor Belfort in the face with that crazy shit that nobody had ever seen before, and boom, he blew up and exploded and became a huge star.
And talking about the main event, you did say, you know, it takes 2 to fight, but it almost seems like you feel like the lack of action in the main event was mainly due to Yoel Romero's part. Do you feel that's accurate?
I do. Yeah, I feel like Yoel Romero, he literally went out and stood in the middle of when the bell rang in the first round, just stood there with his hands up. You know what I mean? You're going in and facing the world champion. This is your last shot at a championship. You shouldn't even be here getting this title fight. It should be Paulo Costa. If he didn't get hurt, you don't even get this opportunity. You go in and you do everything you can to win that fight. He literally did none of that.
He plans on continue fighting for a long time. He says he still has 10 more years left in him. Is there a path for him to get back to the title, or you feel like this was it?
A path back to the title after that performance? I mean, you're crazy even asking that question right now. You look terrible tonight. He looked terrible. He literally gave up an opportunity tonight. You know, maybe he comes back in his next fight and looks like Yoel Romero. But if he doesn't, I wouldn't expect him to fight another 10 years looking like that.
And switching gears, we spoke to Daniel Cormier earlier in the week. He says he's back to training and starting to feel healthy again. Once that Stipe trilogy fight, is that the fight to make? And do you have any update on that end?
No, not yet. I know Stipe's still not hurt, and we got to get Cormier going here soon, or he's going to put on so much weight he won't be able to fight.
So will an interim belt be in place, or will you guys wait till Stipe gets healthy? What's sort of in your mind there?
I don't know. We got to see what happens, and we got to find out realistically how long Stipe is going to be out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, over here.
Hey, buddy.
Interesting statistic here. Every single fighter from the red corner won tonight.
Huh.
Don't know if that means much, but I've never seen it before.
Right.
So, question for you: we had an amazing fight with Joseph Benavidez and Davison Figueiredo.
Yeah.
The winner is the guy that didn't make weight, and the title is vacant. Is there any plan for that, and who would it involve?
Yeah, I think you got to do the fight again. You got to do the fight again. It's fair. It's the only fair thing to do with those guys, and we'll figure it out, and we'll definitely do it.
Makes sense. The referee warned, I think, both Israel and Yoel tonight. Is there anything you wish he could have done further, or was there anything he could have, a second warning, or would you believe in implementing like an old school pride yellow card, or what do you think might be?
No, listen, guys, the fight sucked, right? The fight sucked.
Yeah, it did.
But you just came off the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life. The energy in that building was through the roof. Those guys, they were walking into a no-win situation as it was. You know what I mean? I don't think it was so bad that we're like, God, the ref should have done this, the ref should have. I thought the ref did a good job. There were a couple times when they weren't engaging, and that's probably when he warned them and told them to fight, but tough act to follow. After watching that last fight, it was a tough situation for both of them to be in.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, we were all.
The fight sucked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
What did you think of Neil Magny? A lot of people didn't think he was going to come back and do anything against Li Jingliang. I think it was pretty amazing. Huh?
He looked good tonight. I mean, Neil Magny's one of those guys that's always tough, man, and he's always right there. And, he's the guy that you got to get through if you want to break into, like, the top 7. He's a tough guy to get past.
Absolutely. Last question for me. Any decision of the very few we had tonight that you disagreed with?
I don't know. Nothing stood out in my mind where I'm like, that was insane. Yep. Usually when that happens, we're this deep into the press conference already, and I did 3 other shows before I came here. People would have been talking about it. Sure. You're the first guy to mention it, so I don't think anything was crazy tonight.
I know I said last, but would you have been disappointed had Joanna received the decision in that fight?
It was a crazy close fight. How did you guys go? Did anybody have Joanna win in this fight? A few of you guys, yeah. Yeah.
Amazing show, though.
It was a split decision.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. Listen, when you're in a title fight, right, you have to do everything you can to win that. Not that these girls didn't. I mean, that's fucking stupid of me to even say. But, it's just you never know which way it's going to go. And you just have to do everything in your power to try to stop that thing from going to the judges' scorecard.
Without a doubt. Great show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dana, how you doing?
What's up, Shmo?
Yesterday at the UFC 249 press conference, Khabib and Tony Ferguson, it got heated. Khabib kicked the belt that Tony put on the floor. McGregor couldn't even get him to flinch. Just want to get your thoughts on that and how it all went down and Khabib losing his temper.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, when he kicked the belt, he said that belt's as fake as you. And you saw Khabib normally just has that, listen to this guy, and then he did start getting pissed off halfway through the press conference. Going to be a fun fight, man. It's a fun fight. Tony is a super talented guy that can fight from wherever the fight goes, on the feet, on the ground, spinning stuff, submissions. I mean, the guy's got everything. And Khabib is Khabib. He's one of the greatest ever. And this is the fight everybody wants to see. This is the fight we've tried to make 100 times. And this is the fight that needs to happen right here, right now. Number 1 versus number 2.
How close were we to get Darren Till to fight on this fight card? I know Jaron Cannonier tore the pectoral muscle. He was out. There was some talk back and forth. Maybe there were some visa issues. What's next for Darren Till? Is it Dublin in August for that fight night card? What's next for Darren?
Yeah, I don't remember how close it was. We were talking about him fighting in a few different places. And yeah, I think Dublin is where it's going to happen.
And lastly, I thought Paulo Costa was kicked out. He's standing right next to you.
No, he didn't get kicked out. They were kicking him out of the stadium, out of the arena, because he was losing his fucking mind, and it scares people. You know what I mean?
Understood.
Is he here? Oh,
Right
yeah. Look at him. Fucking guy was going crazy, and look at him. Nobody wants that shit. Everybody gets scared. So we had to take. No, no excuse. What? Yeah, he was going fucking crazy. So they brought him out into the back and tried to calm him down. And then Waleed, I don't even need to say anything. You know, he's fucking nuts. So you got these two going fucking crazy out in the arena, right? Yeah. It's my night. Shitty fight, and then these two start fucking flipping out.
Dana right in front of you.
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about being a promoter that has Joanna on your roster? I mean, she goes out there. This is her 4th title fight in a row that she's lost, but she still comes back better. She improves. She puts on great shows. So what does it mean to you as a promoter to have her on your
Yeah, I'm incredibly lucky. She's amazing. She's an amazing human being. And if you look at her evolution since she's come to the UFC, you know, look at her on social media. She's incredible on social media. You know, and you can honestly tell when you watch Joanna and what she's doing, she enjoys herself. She's loving her life. She's having fun. She got another title shot. She came in dead serious, got in phenomenal shape. She looked so good. She made the weight cut easy, played the mind games like a pro, like she does, and did everything she could to try to win this fight. We're incredibly lucky to have somebody like her, somebody who built that division, started it, and, you know, after all these years can get me that excited for a fucking fight, man. So awesome.
And you mentioned Brian Ortega earlier. Last month you said that you guys were interested in making a fight with Zabit in April. Is there any update on that, or could we see a Korean Zombie Ortega fight considering everything that's gone down?
Yeah, probably that fight. Probably the Zombie. I think. I don't remember exactly all these things in my head that we're working on right now. We literally have fights made all the way up to like. Is Hunter in here? What do we got? July what? Huh? Yeah, we got fights made all the way up to International Fight Week. So, off the top of my head right now, I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, right in the middle.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey there. So obviously you're interested in the Chinese market for Zhang and her actually becoming a bigger superstar there. But you also said that there's a pattern that you follow in basically making stars out of some of these fighters. What would be next in that pattern for you for Wei Li?
Probably take her to New York. Madison Square Garden.
And then also, so the 2 women were taken to the hospital. They're going to be suspended for a given amount of time. Who knows what their injuries are? Who is your 2A and 2B then, who we could see next in that strawweight division? You've got Tatiana out there. Obviously, Rose is looking to come back as well.
Right. Rose is fighting. Rose and Andrade are fighting. Tatiana's hurt. Something wrong with her neck that we're trying to figure out. And I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out. Obviously, the Rose Andrade fight has to happen, and these two have to heal up. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Dana, how you doing? Can I ask you a little bit, kind of looking ahead, you mentioned July is kind of how far out you are, but Conor was here a month ago, whatever, saying that he wanted to be the first one to fight at Allegiant Stadium. How does that work with you and kind of with Badane and those guys with the Raiders schedule and the NFL schedule and trying to be the first, I guess, combat sport in that new Allegiant Stadium? How does all that work?
I don't want to be first. I've never wanted to be first. I wasn't the first guy to run out and get a TV deal. I wasn't the first guy. I wanted to be right. I want it to be successful. So I'm not going to bring an event there until I know that it's big enough to go to that stadium and it can actually be very successful. So, you know, I look into the future and say, oh, this fight's definitely going to happen. It's all determined by whether guys win or lose. And as guys continue to win, it builds the next fight and builds the next fight, and we'll see what's next, you know? And Conor, we're trying to figure out if he wants to fight again or if he's going to wait or what's going to happen. So I really don't have any answers. And you got to see what happens with Khabib and Tony. But if that thing played out, Conor versus Khabib will be the biggest fight ever in the history of combat sports. I'm not just talking UFC, ever. It'll beat Floyd versus Conor.
Thank you.
We good? Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Have a good night.
And we're back. Just heard from UFC President White, highly critical of Yoel Romero's performance. Said what was his phrasing? So called the fight terrible. Said the fight sucked. Couldn't believe he fought like that after coming short. And here apparently Paulo Costa's going to speak to the media some more. So I'm going to mute myself.
Hello guys. Good night.
Paulo, thanks for coming back here again. I think we know a little bit about your thoughts on the fight, but please tell us what your impressions were of the title fight that we just witnessed.
Tonight? Oh, horrible fight. I was shame there to watch that fight. Adesanya is nothing. Adesanya is the most shameful champion I haven't seen ever. He just run. He's nothing. He's nothing. He's scared. You know. I think he don't deserve talk about him. But was a shit. That fight was a shit. I will make him cry. I will hit him very badly, and he will cry like a baby. I will slap his face on my fight against him, you know, because that's it. He's shameful.
Dana was just here, obviously, and he seemed to put a lot of the blame on Romero, that Romero didn't do enough, that Romero didn't press the action. Did you think that some of the blame lied on Romero, or did you feel like it all fell on Adesanya?
I don't blame Romero. Romero is the same against everybody. He never put 100% of pressure, you know. He's a little bit lazy, and sometimes he explodes. The fact is, Adesanya cannot handle with him. Just this. So, and Adesanya cannot handle against powerful guys, you know, like Romero, like Joe Jones, or me. That's why he's afraid. That's why he's avoid some fights, like against me, like against Joe Jones. He's avoid this kind of fight.
He looked for you while he was in the cage, but you had left the arena, and he wanted to tell you to your face that he plans on effing you up when you guys meet. Do you have a message that you'd like to give to him?
Of course, everybody leave from the cage, but when I jump, some people catch me and, you know, bring me out. But he don't deserve it. Why I need to wait for him for tell something for him, you know. He make a very, very bad fight tonight. So I left because this.
You know, I don't know, you guys know, he not left. The security put him out. You have this in the camera. Because he jumped to go to the cage, and the security come crazy. But it is what it is. He not left. To be clear, the security put him out. We have this recorded. It was the crazy things because he wanna this fight more than anybody in the world against Adesanya.
Paulo here. How did you score the fight? There wasn't much action, but seems some people were split.
I think nobody deserves get to win, but Romero put more pressure. Romero take the middle of the cage.
When you see that kind of performance, does it kind of disappoint you or maybe excite you of what you can do when you face Adesanya? Like, how do you feel now after having watched that performance?
I feel shame for that fight, but I will destroy him.
And Dana White says security had to take you out. What exactly happened?
Yeah, I jumped because somebody told me to be prepared or to be ready to go inside the cage. So I jumped. That's it.
And we know you had a bicep injury. Can you give us an update on that, and when are you looking to return?
Sorry, but I don't try go inside the cage to fight nobody. Just to say something, just like that. Your question?
Yeah, and when are you looking to return? Ideally, when would you like to fight Adesanya?
I'm 100% right now. I did a light box sparring this morning. I feel great. The doctor say I'm 100% free to go training hard, and I can fight on 2 months or 3 months. But I think July 11 would be a nice date, on International Fight Week here.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any question? Okay, thank you guys. Bye-bye.
That's a wrap from number 1 contender of the UFC middle division, Paulo Costa. Called Israel Adesanya's win over Yoel Romero as shameful. Said no one deserved the win, but felt Romero put the most pressure on him. Of course, Zhang Weili's been escorted to the hospital. She will not be speaking with the media, so we're just waiting on Israel Adesanya and maybe Yoel Romero. I assume Yoel Romero will speak with the media. Normally, fighters that lose the main events
Yeah, they usually don't.
get some time, but maybe he just doesn't want to. Back to the YouTube. How did you guys score the fight? All 15,000 of you. Adesanya's elite runner. Adesanya's a super professional become a runner. How do you all see that fight between Costa and Izzy going? If you think Costa's going to win, right, Costa. If you think Israel Adesanya's going to win, just right, Izzy. A lot of you thought Israel Adesanya beat Yoel Romero. Apparently, Paulo Costa thought Yoel Romero beat Israel Adesanya. Apparently, you all really like Paulo Costa. Dear God. Paulo. I've seen a lot of Izzy, seen a lot of Costas. Pretty 50-50. All I know is that fight's going to be amazing. I can't imagine Paulo Costa fighting like Joel Romero. Joel. Apparently Brian Ortega and Korean Zombie got into a fight in the fighters section, so that fight's going to be going to everyone. Everyone that watches the A side knows I've been calling for that fight for the better part of 5 years. That fight fell apart. I got so many DMs from like listeners being like, "Are you okay?" I'm just like, I found out that fight fell apart from my DMs.
Were you optimistic that would eventually happen?
I'm not anymore because because it's a little different because that fight, that was the first time it had been booked. Like they had kind of been circling each other for so long, and then when it finally happened, I was like, I've been calling for this fight for so long, and then when it fell apart, I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
Okay. The light's not on, so it's just...
Oh yes, power shifts have been wonky all the way. But I am so excited for Brian Ortega versus the Korean Zombie. Goddamn, better be 5 rounds, I'll tell you that much. A lot of people saying Izzy, a lot of people saying Costa. Again, who do you think would win? Most boring fight I've ever seen, bro. Yeah, don't call me bro.
I'm not your bro.
I'm not your bro, guy.
I threw up a bunch of co-main photos too.
Ooh.
They're at the end.
Into the
Dropbox? Yeah, I haven't, yeah.
Esther's Dropbox of goodies. Dang.
There's so many. I'm sorry.
There's so many. Don't be sorry. I love it.
There's some real good squishy faces.
Squishy face. All 6 stand. So a lot of people are saying Izzy, a lot of people are saying Costa, a lot of people are saying bro. Just bro.
I mean, if we're talking to like,
Apparently Matt Riddle is in our comment section.
yes. I mean, my personal favorite moment of the night was suddenly Mark O. Madsen becoming
Mark O. Madsen?
becoming Irish.
Oh, Madsen. Oh, Madsen. So outside of the main and co-main event, what other fighter stood out the most? What other fighter's performance stood out the most? Write their name. If you think it was O'Malley, write O'Malley. If you think it was Dariush, me.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I wish I was that witty.
I know, right?
Someone just wrote, I think Bromero won. I don't have a hand mic today, so I can't walk around asking media people like I did in Houston, but it's very quiet in this media room.
I mean, understandably so. We're not going to get to hear from Ioana or Zhang. So, you know what did bother me, though? Bruce Buffer saying Wei Li.
I saw that.
Yeah, he's
I heard that.
when he was announcing the winner, it's like, her last name is Zhang.
A lot of people writing O'Malley. A couple people saying Dariush. Magny. Someone wrote, nice hair, bro.
Bro stood out.
Roast. That's too funny.
You know what my favorite kind of chicken is? Roasted chicken. It's really good, actually. It is an actual thing.
I didn't know that. I was going to be like, wow, Esther.
Roasted. It's like air fried. Yeah.
Someone just wrote Bill Cosby. All right. Browana and J Chick. God. You people are
Did y'all
nuts.
see Tulsi Gabbard?
Was she here?
I heard she was here.
Oh, I didn't even see her in the...
Yeah, she was with Wei Li.
Wow.
What are the famous people who are in town?
Robert Downey Jr.
Apparently RDJ.
Yeah. And
I thought The
he
Rock
got to
was your
like
fave.
shake hands with like everybody. I didn't see The Rock.
I thought The Rock was your fave. I thought Nick...
love them in a
what's
very
it-
different way.
Who's the guy Nick that plays Nick Miller?
Oh, Jake Johnson.
Yeah, I thought he's literally on your phone
No, I only
case.
like him in the show.
Oh.
I don't like him as a person.
Why?
I don't know him as a person.
I don't know.
I don't like him as a person.
I don't know personally.
I just like that character. I don't know if he's like that in real life.
I'm agnostic to RDJ. I'm indifferent.
He didn't play Iron Man.
That's not even
That's
that.
not why.
I've only seen like 4 Marvel movies in my life, and I've seen Iron Man 1 and 2. 1 was great. 2 left a lot wanted. Then I saw the last Avengers, and I was like, this movie's not even good. This movie is boring.
Oh.
I hear something. Who do you think's out next? Romero?
I think Romero.
Joel? Someone just wrote Bromalley. There's so many names that you could turn into bro.
Yeah, there really are.
Mark Bro Madsen,
Rodolph Bro.
Gerald Brochart,
Rodolfo.
Alex Broboy Oliveira. Neil Magny's kind of hard.
Well, you know what? Safarberg Safarov.
Yeah, try that one. We'll try that one, guys.
Yeah, Neil Magny doesn't really work.
Someone said put Alex Savas on the screen while we riot.
Riot, bitches.
Riot then. I'd like to see that. Maybe not Giga Chikadze. Can't really throw that.
Which one?
Giga Chikadze.
I'm sure the internet will do it. The internet is this odd place.
I guess Giga Brokadze? No.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Jamal Bromers.
Ioana and Wiley are not going to be speaking. Sean Bromalley. Where's Bromero?
Dana Bro Girl.
That's good. I don't think Costa can beat Izzy. That guy Costa is very crazy. Crazy people can't be can't be a camp in the UFC company. I think he means champ. Last Airbender. Nope. Someone just wrote, "Where's Megan Burlevy?"
Wait, somebody figured out Neil Magny. Where'd it go?
Yeah.
Not great.
No, that's not good. Sorry.
Joe Brogan. What is happening?
Everyone's delirious.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Romero fought badly too. He didn't engage at all.
Yeah. Would agree with that.
It's a weird situation where the last 2 fights Romero's had with Costa and Whitaker were phenomenal. 2 of the best fights I've seen, especially that second Whitaker fight. And then Israel Adesanya is coming off one of the greatest title fights I've ever seen, and then a phenomenal performance against Robert Whitaker. And both of them come out and lay an egg. Takes two to tango. No one is at fault more than the other.
Well, I guess that's, when Dana was saying that the matchmakers didn't want that fight, I assume that's what the matchmakers saw as
Probably.
happening. And a couple of, I was talking to a couple of the other photographers this weekend. Some of them had said they thought that the main event was very likely to be boring because of their
Like
style.
Lewis and Ngannou.
Yeah, but just style matchup wise, there wasn't. But Lewis and Ngannou, Ngannou, I don't know what was going through his head, but Lewis was hurt, so.
That's true.
But in this case, I think it was just a bad style matchup.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, because even if you think about it, Romero, even though he's a wrestler, he doesn't really wrestle that.
He shot in for 1 or 2. Like
Yeah,
when he got
kinda
poked in
just-
the eye, he
yeah.
blitzed him, and then he shot in for 2, and Izzy stuffed both of them.
Yeah.
He hasn't really done much wrestling at all.
Yeah, it's more of a trick for him. He just uses it to kind of lunge into the overhand. Doesn't really.
He basically Israel Adesanya got hit with a mallet
Yeah.
in that first one.
It's just his bait, Just threatens with it, which is, of course, a very good threat, but he hardly ever uses it. So I feel like if he really wanted to, he could have.
The wrestling? Oh yeah, there was a moment where he did that thing that he did with Machida, where he dropped really low, and he squatted low and then popped back up, and even Romero was like, "Well, Adesanya was like, whoa."
Yeah.
Esther, introduce yourself for wondering who the girl is.
This is Esther Lynn, best photographer in
I think I'm
sports.
into this shot, so I'm just gonna lean over. I don't know. There's a delay, so I can't really tell at what point I'm in the shot.
There you are.
Oh. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Alex, do you want to be on camera? And then you're just stuck on me again. Sorry about it. Habib Bromagomedov.
What?
I don't think they spelled even when it spelled his last name.
No.
Bromagomedov.
Bromagomedov.
Henry Cejudo. We're tired.
Clearly. Clearly very tired.
Conor McGregor.
What?
Conor McGregor.
We're so delirious right now.
So all 13,000 viewers just waiting on Yoel Romero, Israel Adesanya. Dana White has already spoken. He was very, what would I say, critical of the main event between Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero. Puts most of the blame on Yoel Romero. Said Israel Adesanya fights to the level of his opponent. The fight against Anderson Silva, he compared it to the fight against Gastelum, the fight against Whitaker. He really rises to the occasion. When he has a dance partner that is unwilling to exchange, this is the kind of fight you get. And of course, the co-main event, Zhang Weili defended her title against Joanna and Jędrzejczyk in what many of us consider to be the greatest women's fight of all time. I think it's one of the 10 best fights, period, I've ever seen. But if we are breaking up into genders, I would say it's the greatest female fight. Only because I don't think it was better than Jones Gustafsson, and I don't think it was better than. I think it's right on par with Adesanya Gastelum.
Somebody wants the Dropbox links for the photos.
You wish.
While you guys are waiting for these other fighters, to Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero, to come out, you can go to our YouTube page. You can watch our scrums with all tonight's winners. We had a guest fighter scrum with featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski. Paulo Costa also spoke. We had a few fighters come back. Or you can go watch all of our interviews from the Dominance MMA Media Day. We have a good scrum with Khabib Nurmagomedov. We got Henry Cejudo. We got Kamaru Usman. Justin Gaethje. What are we laughing at over here, Alex?
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus. This is what we've caught, guys.
We've caught the coronavirus.
Who are the fighters that you interviewed today, Alex? You got Lewis Taylor,
Bilal Muhammad,
Chicago Boy, and Punale Soriano. Is that those three?
Yeah.
Golden.
Who doesn't love Bilal? He's a very likable guy.
Very likable. Great Twitter.
Great Twitter.
Great at picking fights.
Yeah, he is. Bullies picks.
The press conferences today, the first one was the Marvin Vettori Bilal Muhammad show.
Yeah.
With a sprinkle of Todd Duffy.
Although, I don't know if you saw the news. It said that North Italy is being quarantined. 16 million people are being quarantined. And someone had asked Marvin about it, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm from the North. We're fine."
Yeah.
I
want to check. I want to call home.
might want to call home. Yeah. See how your family's doing. That is 16 million people quarantined.
No thanks.
I'm trying really hard to be optimistic about April.
The New York card?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask Habib this. I said, because this morning New York was put in a state of emergency.
Yeah.
And I go, this morning New York was put in a state of, and he goes, la 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 la, no, please, no. And I wasn't even asked if he was concerned about it being canceled, but like, what if it gets moved?
Yeah.
What if it gets
we thought
moved?
maybe we should. What we've been talking about all week is suggesting that maybe they should just move. If they're worried about the crowd and all that kind of stuff, maybe they should just move the fight to the Apex, so we can still watch it.
I wouldn't hate it, but I can't imagine the UFC would want that.
No, because they would lose out on.
Did you see LeBron?
It's sold out already.
So you know how the NBA's talking about doing that?
Yeah.
LeBron James came out and said, if there's no fans, I'm not playing.
Oh.
LeBron James is arguably the most powerful voice in American sports.
Yeah.
And if he's not playing, I can't imagine a lot of NBA players are going to want to play.
Okay. Fine. He doesn't have to play, but does he want everyone to get sick?
That's a good. Yeah. I don't have the answer. It's a good question. Of course, my name is Jose Young. Sitting next to me is Esther Lynn and Alex Savis. We have heard from UFC President Dana White, who was highly critical of the main event. Here, UFC 248 said couldn't believe that Yoel Romero brought that type of fight after coming up short so many times in previous title fights. Said Israel Adesanya just fought to the level of his opponent. Wasn't as critical, but said the fight as a whole. Said was on the complete opposite side, could not say more positive things than he did about the main event between Zhang Weili and Joanna and Jędrzejczyk, who the three of us consider one of the best fights we've ever seen. Pretty much to me, it's 25-minute round. That fight was unbelievable.
It was. It was a marvel.
I couldn't, after that first round, I was like, I know Joanna can keep up this pace. I don't know if Zhang
Yeah.
Weili, not because they didn't believe in her, just because the questions were there. If you watched our
Yeah.
preview show, people,
Plus, you could argue she's more muscled. She's
yeah,
like
100%. She's dealing with a lot of things. Maybe she's going to get her cardio on point because she had to
Yeah.
leave China and bounce around so much.
Yeah.
But when I did the preview show with Shaheen of The Athletic, I said, the big question is, can Zhang Weili fight in the championship rounds? Because for all we know,
Mhm.
she has unbelievable cardio, but
Yeah,
we don't
know that.
It's
Well,
similar to when
yeah.
Izzy fought. We knew he could go 5 rounds, did that against Brett Tavares, but we didn't know if he could go 5 hard rounds.
Right.
And with in a war, and then he answered those questions. It's Kelvin.
Yeah.
Similar to Connor. We've had questions with Connor, and he's answered them. We've had questions with Stipe and DC and and Habib, and we've had these questions, and they've answered them. Israel Adesanya answered those questions.
So
Zhang Weili answered these questions.
No people gate.
Wow.
Stardom had a show without people.
Stardom did, really?
Yeah. See, so there's you could see there's no audience, which is hard. Wrestlers
feed off the audience.
So much, but I mean it's just not safe. So they called it no people gate. Okay, so
Korean music artist Jay Park, who served as Chan Sung-jung's translator. This is from Ariel Hawani of ESPN. Korean music artist Jay Park, who served as Chan Sung-jung's translator during his recent appearance on the show, was slapped by Brian Ortega during tonight's event. Park tells me a scuffle ensued and broken up. Ortega took issue with Park's translation on the show. Park told me Ortega went up to him while Korean Zombie went to the bathroom and asked if he was Jay Park. Park said yes, according to Park, and Ortega open palm slapped him.
okay, so it was backstage.
Yes. So Korean Zombie wasn't involved.
Oh, Angela Hill says it happened right in front of me. Felt like I was in high school again, holding people back. Don't do it, man.
Which show was?
I don't know. On the show, on Ariel's show?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. That seems like. Huh. Right, so it did happen backstage. It wasn't in the fighter section. Because I was gonna say, if it happened in the fighter section, I felt like I wouldn't know because it was right. That was right behind me. I didn't get caught jumping over only because we had already kind of walked over to the side where you get the hand raises. So I didn't, and it was too late. By the time I realized
There were a lot of people over there.
stuff was happening, yeah.
I wouldn't even when I saw it happen. I'm like, I don't know if anybody got that photo. As soon as he hops, everyone swarmed.
Yeah, but there's probably some UFC people over there with cameras and stuff.
We're still waiting on Joel Romero and Israel Adesanya. Have not come out yet. We haven't seen Brian Ortega since the Max Holloway fight, huh?
Was he not in the audience somewhere at some other point?
I meant in a fight.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, I guess he got in a fight tonight. Oh.
I'm still reading
Slapped someone.
I'm still reading your guys' comments. For anyone who's just joined us, my name is Jose Young. Sitting next to me is Esther Lynn, Alex Savas, MMA Fighting. You're live on scene at the UFC 248 post-fight press conference. So far, we've heard from UFC President Dana White, who's highly critical of tonight's main event, where fans saw Israel Adesanya successfully defend his title with a decision win over Yoel Romero. Not the most thrilling fight. A lot of staring, a lot of pointing, not a lot of action, but Israel Adesanya won nonetheless. He remains undefeated and still UFC middleweight champion of the world, dropping down the co-main event. Zhang Weili successfully defended her title against former champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk in a thrilling would be an understatement. Phenomenal co-main event title fight. One of the greatest fights I've ever seen. Heaps, tons of praise on there. Called Zhang Weili a megastar. Said he's lucky to have Joanna Jędrzejczyk in his promotion. Someone says UFC 248 T Bro Mile Arena. Not the best one, sir. Or ma'am.
Oh, here's Yoel.
And here's Joel. So I'm going to pause myself.
Yoel, clearly not the result that you were hoping for tonight. I'm just curious, in your words, what went wrong? What needed to happen that didn't happen tonight?
Es imposible pelear con un fantasma, que no te tiren golpes y que vean ganar a un fantasma. Eso es lo que pasó.
He said it's impossible to fight against a ghost. I don't know how anybody could expect him to fight against a ghost.
Creo que me voy a preparar más para atletismo cuando o él tiene un buen potencial para atletismo. Para atletismo, la carrera.
He says that he's going to start training for track or cross country because obviously he's a cross country and a track star, so he needs to catch up to his sport.
As the rounds were carrying on and we were getting later and later in the fight, did you feel a need to pick up the pace or to try to press or to try to make something happen even though it was so difficult to track him down?
And that's because he ran more than he did.
Sí,
That Israel ran more than you all did.
Por eso fue que perdí, porque corrió más. Y parecía que la competencia, que hoy estábamos peleando para ver quién corría más.
He said that he feels that now the fight scene and the fight game is whoever runs the fastest is the winner.
I'm curious if this is the last title fight that he gets in his career for some reason, if there will be any regrets at all for the game plan or the execution or anything on his side.
I mean, that was kind of a statement, not a.
No, I'm asking if he will feel that way. If for whatever reason he's never able to fight for a UFC title again, will he have any regrets at all about his game plan or his execution tonight?
Simplemente que esperaba hoy tener una guerra. Vine a tener una guerra, a darle un buen show a la fanaticada y eso no pasó. Es lo que es como me estoy sintiendo ahora.
He said that the only thing that he feels is that he's ashamed that he couldn't give the fans a fight or a war that everybody wanted. That now it just became a running match, and he just feels bad and just in general.
Creo que es una falta de respeto.
He said it's a huge disrespect.
El supuesto gran campeón que tiene UFC hoy.
The supposedly and apparent grand champion of the UFC.
Creo que es una gran falta de respeto compararlo con Anderson Silva.
He said it's a huge disrespect comparing him to Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva a los 30 años nos paraba a todos nosotros en los asientos.
He said that Anderson Silva at 30 years old would make the whole stadium stand up.
Creo que es una falta de respeto lo que acaba de hacer Israel hoy para todas las fanaticadas de las artes marciales mixtas, principalmente la UFC.
He said it's a huge disrespect what Israel did today for the fans and for the sport of the UFC.
La gente paga en pay-per-view. La gente trabaja mucho para pagar el pay-per-view. para ver cómo dos grandes guerreros dan lo mejor de sí. Israel no respetó eso hoy.
He said that a lot of people work hard and they work hard to put food on their plate and they spend a lot of money to pay for pay-per-view to watch two greats fight. And today Israel didn't give that to them.
Mi respeto para las peleadoras que estuvieron antes de nosotros.
He said that huge respect to the fighters who fought right before them.
Yo tenía mi cabeza preparada para eso.
He said that that's what he had his mind set to, was a fight.
Me encontré un gran corredor.
Instead he found a great runner.
Hay que recordar que él tiene descendencia africana. Los africanos son muy buenos corriendo. ¿Sí? Tell him.
He says that you have to remember that his descendants from Africa were great runners and that he forgot that. He should have planned better for that.
Dana White was just in here. He said the onus goes on Yoel for the way the fight turned out, not Israel as much. Could you just explain, why you feel so strongly that it was, Israel's fault the way the fight went down?
Si yo estoy parado, ¿dónde se pelea? ¿No se pelea en el medio del ring? Yo estoy parado en medio del ring.
He said, where do you fight? Don't you fight in the middle of the ring? I was standing in the middle of the ring.
¿Y él corrió?
And he ran.
¿Qué harías tú?
What would you do?
Si cada vez que vas detrás un tipo sigue corriendo.
And every time he would come after him, he would just run.
Cada vez que siente el poder de tu mano, corre y corre.
Every time he would get near him, he would just run and run and run.
¿Tuviste la pelea? Ask him. ¿Él vio la pelea?
He said, did you see the fight?
I did.
¿Viste el primer golpe que le di en el ojo, en el primer round?
He said, did you see that first hit that he caught Israel with?
I did.
Ya. No quiere más.
He said, yeah, he didn't want anything after that.
Es como igual que cuando querían pelear con Mike Tyson.
He said it was the same thing like when everybody wanted to fight Mike Tyson.
Todo el mundo tenía un plan.
Everybody had a plan.
Hasta que Mike lo conectaba.
Until Mike hit him in the face.
Él es kickboxing.
He's a kickboxer.
Supuestamente un gran kickboxer.
Apparently a great kickboxer.
Mira mi face. Mira mi cara.
Look at his face.
How are your legs feeling? That's what Izzy felt that he could do.
So what you want to see?
And last thing from me, any idea what you do from here? I know you said you wanted to keep fighting for another 10 years. Is that still the plan? When would you like to compete again?
Ahora más que nunca.
He said, now more than ever.
Si acabo de pelear con el que supuestamente iba a romper el récord, era el supuesto Anderson Silva. Oh my God.
He said, I just finished a quote-unquote fighting apparently the guy who said that he would beat the record of Anderson Silva.
¿Sabes por qué le ganó? Ya lo he dicho en varias entrevistas. Que ya lo he dicho en varias entrevistas.
He said that he's already said that in a few interviews.
¿Sabes por qué le ganó
Do you know why he won?
a Robert Whittaker?
At Whitaker?
Porque ya no era el mismo. Robert no era el mismo.
Because he wasn't the same.
Había sufrido muchos daños en las grandes batallas que tuvo conmigo.
He said he suffered a lot of injuries in the years he's had.
Mi respeto para Robert.
And he has respect for everyone.
Se paraba a pelear conmigo.
And he would stand and fight with me.
Joel, aquí atrás para Univisión. Tan cercas pero tan lejos, una oportunidad más de conseguir el título, el campeonato. ¿Qué más te hizo falta? Platícanos un poquito de, o sea, él corrió, él hizo, se fue, ¿Qué tú podrías haber hecho más para poder haber ganado el campeonato? ¿Y qué piensas acerca de todos tus aficionados latinos
Bueno,
que vieron
creo-
la pelea?
Honestamente, hermano, creo que a lo mejor tenía que meterle el dedo en el ojo también. No sé. Es imposible pararte en el medio a pelear. Uno viene aquí a pelear, no a correr. Eso fue lo que él hizo. Correr y correr y correr. Esperaba tener un digno rival. Tuve a un corredor delante de mí. No me tocó. Él pateó, yo pateé también. Él hizo intentos de takedown, ni uno. Ni uno. Yo creo que yo hice algunos. Él me golpeó la cara, yo creo que yo le golpeé más la cara a él. Él no me golpeó. Y a la fanaticada latina, Dios me lo bendiga muchísimo. Y ustedes han sido testigos también de lo que ha pasado hoy. Hoy sí estoy muy molesto, muy molesto. Porque al menos con Robert Whittaker, Robert se paró a pelear conmigo. No creo que Adesanya haya respetado a todas las personas, a todas las comunidades, no importa, todas las personas que han pagado el pay-per-view, no respetó que las personas trabajan para pagar el pay-per-view, para verte pelear, para ver tu trabajo. Es cuando tú vas a un doctor, tú pagas para que el doctor te atienda bien. Es lo mismo. Y él no respetó eso.
Well, I don't know if you want me to translate or just keep going in Spanish, but at 42, a tus 42 años, tal vez sea la última vez que puedas pelear por un título. ¿Vas a buscarlo de nuevamente? ¿Vas a buscar el título una vez más? I mean, the question is, at 42 years old, is he going to look for another title shot? ¿Qué es lo que vas a hacer?
Never give up. Never give up.
Yoel, can I clarify right in front of you, directly in front? Your first answer, you said it's impossible to fight a ghost. I just wanted to clarify what you meant when you called him a ghost.
I'll answer that. He wasn't giving him any sort of compliment. He meant was he was non-existent. Yoel showed up to fight. Israel apparently showed up to fight, but every time Yoel wanted to engage, he would disappear. That's what he meant by a ghost. He wasn't giving him any sort of like, oh, he was slipping. I know you understood, but I guess I want to clarify for everybody out there that at no point is Yoel giving him any sort of respect. We've lost our respect for him as a fighter. You can't call yourself a warrior if you're going to run. You stand and you bang. That's it.
That's what I'm thinking. Tonight, everybody lose. Not only me. Everybody. The fans, the UFC. Only the winner tonight is him. Only him. The fan for UFC, he lost it. They lost the money. He lost the espectáculo. Perdieron el espectáculo, botaron su dinero para ver el pay-per-view.
He said the whole night was just a waste. They didn't have the spectacular outcome they wanted. They didn't have the show. They didn't have the gladiators they wanted to fight. That's it.
UFC perdió también.
He said UFC lost because
Tienes que
Israel
poner un
represents-
campeón, un campeón digno de darte un buen espectáculo. No va a correr. Que se vaya entonces para campo y pista.
He said that you need a dignified champion. You don't need somebody who's going to run the whole time. You need somebody who's going to represent your brand.
Esto es un deporte de combate, un deporte de contacto,
So this is a contact sport. This is combat.
donde te van a dar y tú vas a dar.
You're going to get hit and you're going to hit them.
¿Entiendes? Si a él no le gusta que le den, que se vaya de nuevo no sé. Mira, para danza, a él que le gusta bailar.
He said that he needs to find another sport, either start running professionally or start dancing professionally.
I just wanted to ask, when the fight began and you stood there in the center of the ring, were you trying to make a statement to him when you stood with your hands up and he wasn't engaging you? You just stood there for 30 seconds. I mean, were you trying to make a statement at that point?
Que se parara ahí conmigo.
He said that he wanted him to stand right in front of him and engage with him. He didn't want to chase him around the ring. He wanted him to stand in front of him.
¿Sabe? Él quiere que sea sincero, que le conteste de verdad lo que
He
quería.
said, do you really want him to answer what he wanted?
Vamos a matarnos.
He said he wanted them to kill each other.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Hello. Romero, how do you see Paulo Costa against Adesanya? Who do you think is going to win the fight?
Eso depende.
He said it depends. I already know where this is going.
Because I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, God. Va a tener que prepararse bien duro corriendo, Paulo.
He said that Paulo Costa's gotta prepare himself very well to start.
El hombre corre cantidad.
Because Israel can run. He runs a lot.
Corre mucho, 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 mucho.
He runs a lot.
Y entonces es dependiendo de cómo es lo que quieran ver los jueces.
He said it's also dependent on what does the judges want to see.
Okay, my last question is, said before that he was expecting you to be more aggressive in this fight. How do you see that?
¿Agresivo con quién?
Back to the ghost. Aggressive with who? If there's nobody in front of him, who's he going to be?
Estoy parado, medio del ring y el hombre corriendo, no quería acercarse. ¿Con quién voy a pelear? ¿A salir corriendo como un loco? ¿Con una sombra? ¿Qué quieren? ¿Qué es lo que querían ver?
What did you guys want to see?
¿Qué querían ver? Yo parado en medio o corriendo detrás de un hombre y el hombre corriendo de otra, como uno corriendo detrás de una gallina, algo así, porque eso fue lo que pasó. ¿Qué más agresivo? Si supuestamente el hombre viejo está peleando con un jovencito y el jovencito es el que corre. ¿Qué quieren ver?
He said, what did you guys want to see? He's like, an old man chasing a young man and the young man running. That's not the game he wanted. That's what you guys got. He said he stood in front of him, he engaged him, and he just ran. There's no way anybody else saw that fight otherwise.
¿Más agresivo?
He said, more aggressive? How?
Joel, por acá. Adesanya dijo que te iba a finalizar y que iba a hacer una declaración con su desempeño. ¿Te sorprendió el tipo de pelea que tuvo? Were you surprised by his performance? Adesanya said that he was going to go in there and finish you and make a statement.
He said que él me iba a retirar.
He said that he was apparently going to retire me.
Que le iba a demostrar al mundo que ya yo estoy bien viejo.
He said that he was apparently going to show the world that he's very old for the sport.
¿Pierdes respeto por él después de ese desempeño?
No me preguntes a mí, pregunte a los fanáticos. A mí no me pregunte. Yo sé quién soy. Soy varón, soy atleta, soy deportista y a eso me debo. Cuando vengo a la arena es a pelear porque ese es mi trabajo. Es mi trabajo. Darle lo que la gente pagó. Si tú tienes agua aquí, tú pagas esta agua. Tú no estás pagando cerveza, no estás pagando whisky. Estás pagando agua. Tú pagas por lo que tú quieres tomar, por lo que tú quieres comer, por lo que tú quieres ver. Él no respetó eso, brother.
Would you like the rematch? ¿Te gustaría la revancha?
Me gusta pelear. I love fight. Because I love the people. I love the fans. When I fight with Robert Whittaker, you wanted the rematch? Of course. I love it. Because it's my job. Es verdaderamente mi trabajo. ¿Para correr de nuevo? No. Que se quede con la victoria que él supuestamente ganó para él. Porque todo el mundo vio, todo el mundo perdió. Ahí todo el mundo perdió. Se perdió el tiempo viendo esa pelea. Viendo como un atleta que supuestamente era peleador, estaba corriendo. My pleasure.
There you have it, folks. Yoel Romero's left the building. A lot to unpack in that press conference with Yoel Romero following his decision loss to reigning UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya. Said he lost respect for him, said he fought a ghost, said he fought a shadow, said he should run track and field.
Let me punch you.
Basically, Yoel Romero was like, all I wanted to do was hit him. Just let me hit you.
Let me.
He did once, and he was like, not happening.
I'm actually really heartbroken we can't hear from Zhang or Joanna.
Yes.
Just because.
It's very negative press conferences.
Right, because this is. Not that it was nice, but we should be celebrating that instead.
Yes.
But we don't get to, you know.
Yes.
Instead of really talking about what an all-time great fight, we're instead talking about something that we really should just move on from.
Yes. Yes. Let's see who else. Drop back into these YouTube comments. Farmo. The 12,000 people still watching. Those of you just tuning in, we are waiting on Israel Adesanya, the man of the hour. Yoel Romero spoke with the media. Dana White spoke with the media. Even Paulo Costa had an impromptu press conference.
Yeah, right.
Is he the last runner?
I would also like more details on this Ortega slapping Jay Park thing at some point. If anyone has any more details.
The comment section is going to make up a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I don't need from the comments section. I meant like
Sure.
from actual witnesses.
Right.
So Angela Hell, if you're watching, please give us more details.
Angela, overkill, fellow weeb. Interesting. This talk of John Jones versus Israel Adesanya is all of a sudden becomes, did John Jones and Israel Adesanya lose their last two fights?
Yeah.
There could be an argument that they lost both of their fights.
Yeah, I don't know. You did get the sense this week that this was one of those things where, I don't know, every time that we kind of hype something up too much, this kind of happens.
It happens. Has there been a title fight lately that's like, I guess the Usman Covington one, that fight ruled.
Yes.
That had a lot of heat and a lot of, like, even Dana White was like, you get all these heated rivalries that don't live up to the expectations. Like Nick Diaz George St. Pierre was like a big rivalry, but the fight wasn't the greatest.
Right. Well, see, with Usman and Covington, I think that Usman was still so pissed at Covington that he was never going to be able to just stay calm through the 25
broke
minutes.
His jaw.
You know, whereas, I mean, I think that
Izzy didn't actually have a beef with Romero in any way,
No,
so
no.
there's really nothing that was gonna steer him off his game plan. So
Right.
and Romero obviously didn't want to be steered off his game plan as well. So
Schmo and the bro.
I saw that. Khabib versus Tony. Yeah, it's happening. Nope, it's not happening. I take that back. I
No.
ruined it. It's my fault.
oh no. Yeah. No, it's weird. I feel like it'll happen, but I can't. I feel like maybe the rest of the card won't be able to stay intact because you can't have 26 fighters show up, and in the next month none of them are gonna get coronavirus. Considering what they said that it's like 75% of people in America will probably get it
Right.
at some point.
Right.
And what seems to be our way of dealing with it is by just not testing anybody, so we
Right.
don't know if anybody has it. I don't know why I'm laughing. That's not funny.
We're tired.
Oh yeah.
One of the comments says, best defense against any attack is to not be there. Izzy sold the fight, predicting the knockout, but he did what he should have done to keep the belt by keeping Romero at range.
That's smart.
Very smart.
I mean, actually, I'm gonna read our former colleague Luke Thomas's tweet because I thought this was actually really good. But he wrote, because he responded to Yoel Romero's quote, Israel has disrespected the UFC and MMA fans. And Luke said, by doing what? Following rational incentives? Come on, Whitaker takes epic abuse and plenty of applause. Adesanya takes virtually no abuse and plenty of booze. Which would you choose? You can lie to me, but not to yourself. Let's cool it with the Adesanya criticism.
You should become a voice reader, like a book reader.
I would like to do that. I don't sound anything like Luke Thomas, though.
Hey, Jose.
Quite no. There's not enough like grunts or laughs or donks. You're not lifting weights.
Jose, can you hear me yet?
I know.
I like that someone took. So this is a video. There's a video out there, a clip of Daniel Cormier reacting. I believe it's Dariush's knockout.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "Oh my god!" and he's like, obviously like collapses in like excitement on top of Joe Rogan. And someone just goes, "In 15 years, I'm going to tell my kids this was the ending of Romero Adesanya." He just stood and sweat like what? Casey, hold on one second. Let me see if I can hear you. I'll put my headphones in because I haven't been able to hear you. I'm sorry. What's up? I can't hear you.
Oh, is your Skype muted? Maybe?
Let me try.
Can you hear me now?
Nope.
No, that's your mic.
Can you hear me?
No. Nope, it's not. And speakers, external headphones. Yep, no.
You guys can't hear me.
I don't know.
Ah, bummer.
Is it me?
I think so. I think he's just talking now. We can hear him, but we
I can't hear him. He looks crystal clear, but I just can't hear him. I think it's got to be something on my end.
Yeah. That they can hear him?
I don't know.
Oh.
No one said anything.
Going on, losers.
We couldn't hear you. Casey's back. I don't know what's going on.
I could hear myself.
Yeah, but
Some people in the
I-
comments said we can hear you.
Yeah, I just couldn't hear you. So, Casey, what's your thoughts on what we witnessed between Israel Adesanya?
your streams.
No, it's been doing that.
Oh, okay.
So, Casey, what are your thoughts on what we saw between Israel Adesanya and Joel Romero? Are you on, I don't want to say sides, but Dana White was highly critical of Yoel Romero, saying it was his fault. Yoel Romero saying he basically fought a shadow or a ghost. What are your thoughts?
I'm definitely leaning way more toward Dana's version of events than Romero's.
Yes.
So I thought Izzy actually fought a absolutely great fight in the sense that the big narrative coming into this fight was, if you fight Yoel, win or lose, you will come out a different person. I think Izzy pretty much came out the same person.
Yes.
He fought 25 minutes, stood of him, beat his leg up. Yeah, Yoel instead of salsa, I guess, but it affected him. And it was a great fight by Izzy.
You know,
It wasn't the most exciting fight, especially coming off
You know
one
what
of
this-
the greatest fights I've ever seen.
You know what this aftermath feels like? Valentina's win over Liz Carmouche after she decapitated Jessica Ai. So she decapitates Ai and then has that follow-up with Liz Carmouche, and people all of a sudden were like, "What?"
It's similar. It's similar. Nothing was bad as that championship fight.
I'm not.
But yeah,
yeah.
I definitely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, the fallout. And then you see Valentina had her performance against Kyle Chukagian, where all of a sudden she's back to the good races with everyone. So you see how fickle MMA fans are. Fans in general of all sports.
Yeah. Where were all these same fans? Like, were they around when Anderson was fighting like Charles Natchez? Like, I remember. I remember fans booing so much Anderson. They booed him all the time. I remember fans booing crazy like Rashad. And all of a sudden, Rashad became like a fan favorite. I was like, what?
Remember Decision Dan Henderson?
Yeah, Decision Dan. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I the good thing about Izzy, like, he really doesn't give a shit.
No.
He knows what's up. Izzy fought a great fight. He fought a very risky fight. I would say that a very risky fight. In the
He
sense-
ate that one like
he
cleaver
ate that one
to
shot,
the
but
head.
in the risky fight in the sense that he essentially gave away 2 rounds, and so he had to win the last 3 rounds. So any one big shot would have, just one more big shot by Romero at any point in the last 3 rounds would have won that fight. Just one big shot. Izzy never landed. I mean, Romero never landed that extra shot he needed to win one. 'Cause that's all he needed, just that one shot, just in the round. That's what all Romero does. He just has to land one shot, he wins the round.
How did you score that fight? 3-2?
Yeah. The first 2 for Romero.
Last 3 for Izzy?
Yeah.
Yes. Same.
Yeah.
A lot of people say 1-2-5 Romero.
Got people going. Hey.
I see movement. I see Adesanya. So I'm going to mute myself once he emerges. And there he is, the man of the hour, Israel Adesanya. So I'll mute myself so we can hear what the champ has to say.
First question. Israel, at the end of the day, you still got the belt around your waist, another defense of the title, but probably not the fight that everybody was hoping to see, that was wanting to see. It looked like even you looked a little bit disappointed at the end. Just give me an idea kind of what went wrong, I guess. I mean, who should shoulder blame for the way that fight played out?
I mean, it's not the fight I wanted to have. I had a different vision for how this fight was going to end. But it takes 2 to tango. You know, I can't force a guy to fight. I can force him to make mistakes, which I did a little bit by exposing his legs later on. But for me, if a guy stands there for the first 2 minutes and just has his hands up, am I supposed to risk my belt and get clipped by him? Which I did. I realized, okay, that's a bad move. And I went back to what I do best, which is pick people apart. But yeah, that was really bizarre. I mean, I might as well have just used a training dummy at my gym as my sparring partner, you know. But yeah, it was just really bizarre because I was expecting a little bit more. And like I said, crafty. These guys are crafty. These old guys, they'll do things and act like, why you no fight? I'm like, I'm chopping your legs up. I'm jabbing you. Why aren't you bringing the fight? I mean, you guys know me. I'm never in a boring fight. That's not my style. You see me even tonight, I overcame adversity. You see me overcome adversity again. I mean, before in the Gastelum fight. You've seen when the going gets tough, when someone actually brings the fight, when someone actually comes after you with different looks, different techniques, not just one look. And that's just like a wooden dummy, a wooden kung fu dummy, just standing there. You know, you see Robert Whittaker, who actually blitzed, attacked. You know, I need people to try and take this shit off me. Keep trying.
So he was in here and he said he put the blame on you and said, you know,
Of course he did.
You were running, you didn't engage. You know, he wanted to put on a war, a battle for the fans, and you simply were a track star running around. How do you address him saying that?
What else is he gonna say? How he's gonna sleep at night? I mean, he lost his last chance at gold, even in the 5th round. Come on, you attack. I've used the Gaston fight reference over and over again, but that's because, you know, I really showed out in that 5th round because I knew I wanted that belt. I wanted it more. Show me you want the belt. That belt was up for grabs, and I went to grab it, and I grabbed it. So show me you want the belt. Don't just roll up and then, you know, do the bachata, the merengue, and then, oh, come fight, boy, come fight. I'll just you. I'm like, these are veteran moves. I think one of his tactics is try to bore you. And he's done it with a lot of guys. He'll just stand there and bore you, and then you're just expecting something, and you lose concentration for half a second or a second, and then he catches you. You know, that's probably his only hope for this fight. I think that was his thing. But yeah, I don't know. That was really bizarre, and it's not my kind of fight. But like I said, check my resume. If you haven't seen me fight before, check my resume and see how I really fuck these dudes up.
Clearly, you're still a star on the rise. And Dana was in here earlier, and he said, man, in hindsight, maybe we shouldn't have made this fight. Maybe we should have waited for Costa to get healthy and made that fight. Sitting here now, do you feel like, maybe this really wasn't the fight to make?
No. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. But I'm looking forward to that fight now more than ever, because I actually get a guy that's going to not stand there and do like the 52 blocks at me. He's actually going to come forward, have pressure, and get hit by me a lot.
Yeah. Last thing for me, Costa is obviously the next fight. He says he's looking at July 11th. You know, Dana wants to make sure he gets cleared first. But for you, ideally, when would you like to have that fight?
That sounds good to me. July is my birthday month, and what is he? We're in March, April, May, June. Yeah, I can do that.
Izzy, congratulations on the win.
Hey, what's up, Kevin?
Costa made a comment. He was kind of ripping you when he came in here after the fight, and he basically said you're the most shameful champion he's ever seen. And he said you just ran, you're scared, and he doesn't deserve that I talk about him, meaning talking about you, and he said he'd make you cry. You think he's just trying to get his name in the headlines tonight, or
he sucks at it. That's the thing. He sucks at trying to talk trash as well, and he's easily influenced. I can flick his nose, and you'll see him bark at the cage. Like, he's too emotional, and already I know how that fight's gonna go. I'm gonna sleep that guy. He's a guy that I've had a lot of kickboxing fights. His reach, his arms, when he lets it down, reaches his waist. You know, I'll pick him apart. He's a guy that I'll definitely jab, pick apart, catch him, and then knock him out. That's what I was hoping Romero would be. I had certain moves timed, ready for him, but it's hard to implement them when the guy won't come at you. So yeah, and it's not the fact that I wasn't trying to attack, because eventually I decided, cool, I'm gonna attack you. Then I attacked his leg, and I battered his leg. His leg is fucked. Trust me, he's not gonna be walking tomorrow. If you've never taken a leg kick, you wouldn't understand. But I looked at his leg after the fight when I was talking to Joe Rogan, and I saw his legs was battered and bruised, and I already knew it was when I think in the 4th round I could see the damage I did in the leg, so I just invested more in it.
do you feel like, and this is probably applying to both of you, but if something's not working, that you have to adjust and make an adjustment and sort of change what you're doing a little bit? And the fact that you came out after that great women's fight and the crowd's all into it, and I think people kind of had the bloodlust after that fight was going on. They want to see you guys do that. Is it incumbent upon you as the champion or him as the challenger to make an adjustment to change what's happening?
I made an adjustment. I was the one that made the adjustment, because I mean, it's up to both of us. But yeah, definitely up to the challenger as well. Like, I mean, if I had fought the way he fought, you guys would rip me to shreds right now as a shameful champion, like Homeboy said, da-da-da-da. But the first round, he didn't do anything. I wasn't able to get off as much as I wanted to. So I think from the end of the second round, the 3rd round, I started to like use long attacks, like my leg kicks. I have long legs, so I could touch him. He can't touch me. I'd hit him with the leg kick and try and swing that left at me and miss. But yeah, it's not up to just me. I'm the champion. I'm the one with the belt. I'm the one with the gold. If you want it, come get it. And in the 5th round, like I said, when I fought Gastelum, The belt was up for grabs. It was about who wanted it more. And I wanted it more. That's why I'm the champion. I'm the champion now. If you want the belt and you know the fight's close, come get it. And he didn't.
Last thing for me, I know, personal lives get involved in your fight camp too. And I wonder, I know you had a little tragedy with one of your animals, and how much did that affect you? And did it, during training camp, did it have tear you down a little bit?
No, not really. I put all that in the back burner. I'm very cold in that way, almost like a psychopath. But I'll deal with it later on. Like now, I agree. I'll agree with I've buried her and all that kind of stuff, and I've made the right moves. Like I made a promise to myself, I'm never getting a cat till I get a property with a kilometer in all directions. And now I have a secure space, a space that no one can ever run over my cat. Don't fuck with cats.
Israel, right here in the back. A lot was made from Yoel's last few opponents that kicking him felt like concrete or steel or anything. So I'm curious, after spending 25 minutes with him, what did it feel like to kick him?
Like flesh and bone and muscle, really thick muscle, but nothing like steel. I don't know, like you guys have these metaphors. Have you ever actually kicked steel? It's fucking bullshit. It's just the media perpetuates all this shit. Oh, he's steel. And I said, just muscle, thick muscle. I understand what people are trying to say, but it's heavy. But nah, I kicked the bottom of the heavy bag at my gym. It's way harder than that. Way harder than him, so it was nothing to me. I kicked him initially, and he checked it, and he pointed like, he kind of smirked like, that hurt. And I was like, I'm still gonna fucking kick you, and I still did, and I still used my right leg at him. And eventually I switched to southpaw, and I used my left leg. My injury isn't from anything he did; it's from what I did, from attacking him. So I mean, that whole shit, that narrative was steel. Put that to rest now.
And then you had another entrance, your entrance against Whitaker, you danced and performed. This one, you had people coming out with you. It looked like they threw flowers up into the air. So anything you want to say on that, your entrance?
That just came to me the day my cat died. I had a metamorphosis in my car that kind of just made me feel a type of way through music and just the vision I was getting. I was a vessel. So it was what I was supposed to do. I don't know if it came from my ancestors or whatever, but it was what I was supposed to do. And I think it was aesthetically pleasing. Like I said, I wanted to aesthetically please the audience. This is my first pay-per-view headliner in America. I really wanted this is not the fight I wanted. Like I said, I wanted a fight like any of my fights in the UFC. Watch any of even the Brad Tavares fight. That was my first main event in America. It was a fight night, not a pay-per-view, but Brad Tavares brought the fight. He came to fucking fight, and I sunned him 5-0. This was probably 4-1 or maybe 5-0 on some scorecards, but yeah, I wanted to showcase, and the entrance was part of the showcase, definitely.
And then one final one. Dana White said you and Yoel had a tall task ahead of you to outperform the women before your fight. So I'm curious if you watched that fight in the back and what went through your mind watching that.
I didn't really see the fight. I still got caught glimpses of it. I don't really know how to score it or anything. But, yeah, like I said, I came to fight. He came to merengue.
Champ right here. All right, let's take it from the top. So the first punch that he connected with at the very beginning, after he stood there for a few minutes, it looked like you were blinking your left eye a little bit. What happened there?
He punched me in the face.
I'm saying,
and I was blinking a lot because I could see 2 Romeros.
So that's what happened. He cracked you with a good one.
I mean, yeah, he cracked me with a good one, but I mean, this is the guy that's supposed to put everyone down. He hit me because I was not on the outside. My foot positioning was wrong in that stance that I was at, and in the situation I was in, I came down the middle rather than from the side, from the outside. And he cracked me with his best shot early on. I hate that. I'm not proud of my chin, I've told you guys, but I can take a shot. I just don't like to brag about it because it's stupid. But then later on, you see, I read that left hand like it was nothing. Whenever it was coming at me, whoop, I was out the way. I leaned back. But yeah, he did crack me, and that was the best punch of his fight. That was it. That was his best shot of the fight, and that was it. Nothing. I'm still, I got like, what did I have, a little graze over here? Cool.
Yeah, that was actually my next question, because he talked about leading up to the fight that he had the perfect game plan to knock you out. So now that the fight is over with, clearly that left hand was his game plan. And like you said, you took it and it didn't really, your face doesn't look marked up.
No, I'm good. Stay pretty. It's the pretty ones you have to watch out for.
Were you surprised he didn't try to wrestle, though, when that didn't work?
He told me at one point, I can't remember which round, he said, I'm gonna take down. I was like, you can try. And then that was his first takedown attempt. Then I got right back up. And then later on, he tried again. And like I said, my nuts on the back of his head, and I got back up.
Israel, back here. First off, big respect for you for showing your love for animals, man. I'm with you on that 100%.
Appreciate it. That's my baby.
Absolutely. So, question for you about Romero, and this is not taking anything away from you. You're an amazing athlete and a great champion. Do you think he's the same fighter that he was 5 years ago, back when he would take people down? He seemed kind of faster and like he could make some things happen. And I don't think this would have happened in a fight with him when he was a little bit younger. Do you see any legitimacy with that?
I could say you have a fair point. But also, when in the last stare down I had with him, the first one initially, when I told him to take his glasses off, I told him to take his glasses off for a reason. Because I want to see the eyes. And I noticed his left eye. There's something wrong with it. It was, I don't know how he got past the doctors. But there's definitely something wrong with his left eye. And his left side of his body, there's something wrong with it. I can feel it, I can see it, I can sense it. So even in the last stare down at the weigh-ins, I noticed it. So my plan was to close up his right eye. But when you're 100% defense or 98% defense, it's hard to, because when you throw a jab, when you attack, you always open. Every time I attack, I leave myself open. I take risks. You guys have seen my resume. I don't have to tell you this. I take risks. He didn't. He was 98% defense. He never went below like 85, 86% defense. He was constantly on the defensive and expecting me to attack so he can just open up and then attack me. And like I said, I don't know. It was bizarre. Like I'm still gonna watch the fight again and just marvel at it because it was interesting to be a part of.
Absolutely. A lot of people thought he was going to take a page out of Kelvin Gastelum's book. Were you expecting that as well?
A little bit. That's why I didn't hit my stance at the beginning of this fight. Normally I hit my stance, but I didn't want him to get the jump on me in case that was his plan. But I was ready for anything. I was ready for this. This is his wait. But I was not ready for him to just stand still and just look at me like a crash test dummy.
When the referee warned you guys, what did he say?
He said, "Oh, you guys need to give the judges something to score." And I was doing my work. I was the one moving, getting reads. I was the one jabbing. I was the one attacking. He was waiting for that game plan he had. That one-shot knockout power that he already landed and didn't do shit with. So I was the one working. The ref should have actually looked at him and said, "Look, you need to fucking engage more," because I was engaging. I don't know. I mean, you guys, you can have your own personal opinions, but yeah, I was the one actually controlling the fight.
Yeah. Last one for me. With the Paulo Costa fight being next, can we expect some kind of craziness with press conferences, or might you be able to bring some humor?
The guy, he sucks at English. He's a buffoonus ignoramus. He left. I thought he was gonna like shit in his hand and throw it at the cage. So that's why I was trying to look at Joe Rogan like, where is he? And he's like, he's gone. I was like, oh fuck. I was ready to roast him right there and then. Oh, trust me, I'm gonna have fun with him. I'm gonna fucking roast him like a Sunday pig.
Got you. Thank you.
Izzy right here.
Mhm.
When Dana was in here earlier, he said that he thinks you fight to the level of your competition. Basically, citing the Anderson Silva fight as maybe a little lackluster.
The 112, Damian Maia. Yeah, I mean, fair point. Yes, I mean, I can only do so much with what you bring me. It's smart. Yeah, like what am I gonna do? Attack a brick wall and get caught? No, I'm gonna fight to the level that you're giving me. This is a dance. Fighting, I don't know if any of you actually spar or even train, but like there's a flow of energy, there's a flow of body language. So you have to do something for me to react. I have to read you. I have to give you. Like you saw the first 2 minutes, I was trying to probe reads, and he just stood there still with his arms up, fully 100% defense, and then slowly started to like release a little bit, like 0.1%, 0.5%. It's like, what are we doing? And then he caught me when I made a mistake, and that was because I played into his game plan. Maybe I got frustrated, and I thought, okay, let me attack him. And I attacked wrong. I attacked down the center line. And then I was like, oop. But, I mean, thank God, didn't knock me out. I know a lot of them were hoping like that was the one, and that was him. He was hoping that was his game plan. And his fucking fat, bowling ball-looking coach started booing me after the fight as well. Fuck that cunt.
Yeah, what was that about?
I don't know. Boo! I don't know. Fuck, I I don't know. He can, shove it where the sun don't shine.
And when Yo was in here, I actually asked about the leg kicks, and he got up and started salsa dancing.
He's a veteran. He's a man that can take a lot of pain. I'm guaranteeing you. I guarantee you, behind closed doors, he's limping. He's sore. He's icing his legs right now. I guarantee you. I'm not scared to show my emotions. I'm not scared to say what happened. But he wants to save face because he lost the fucking fight. So he wants to act like I never got hurt. He never hurt me. I hurt him bad. I'm telling you that. You can see the story. I made his leg the fucking color of the rainbow. Yeah, I hurt him bad.
Last one from me. It's been such like a storybook perfect kind of rides for you in the UFC to win the title and everything you've done. Does a night like tonight, where you're kind of the point of criticism, fair or unfair, whether it was your fault, is that going to bother you?
I wouldn't say I'm the point of criticism. I don't really care what people think at the end of the day. I get paid. I got paid. I mean, even if you look on Twitter, you can see where the memes are going. Like, there's so many memes already popping up showing that he didn't actually bring the fight. So I'm not really the point of criticism. He is.
Izzy over here. You said that you wanted to be the first to finish UL in the UFC and sort of add that to your legacy. You weren't able to get it, but you did defend your title. I'm wondering if that taints your title defense and how you feel about it.
Nah, fuck no. I still beat the guy that I shouldn't even have been in there with me on a 3-fight losing streak. I called him out. I was the one that said, let me fight that guy. The UFC said, nah, we can't put that. Doesn't make sense. I'm like, look, I don't care. Let me fight that guy. But guess what? He didn't want to fight. He was hoping. He was hoping that I would make a mistake. If you want, listen, you have to make someone make mistakes. You have to create the opportunity so you can get your knockout punch. But you can't just stand there and hope I run into it and hope I run into you. That's dumb. Because then I'm just going to stand on the outside and pick you apart. Because I'm not stupid. I'm not going to risk millions of dollars on the line just so I can please some drunken buffoons in the crowd who've been drinking since 4 p.m. Are you shitting me? Nah. So I did what I had to do to win the fight, but it doesn't taint my legacy in the slightest. Trust me, at some points when he was bringing like a little bit of heat, I was waiting for him to swing or do something crazy because I had something planned for him. But he never obliged. So yeah, it's not really on me, it's on him.
Right after the decision was read, we saw on camera you said, see you soon, boy, to him. Do you think you'll meet him down the line again? Or
I said, because he did something and touched me on the chin, I was like, don't punch. He kind of, not chin me, I was like, don't chin me. I said, look, if you stick around till you're 50, then I'll see you soon, boy. I was just using this one. I was just mixing his own words against him. It was clever.
And Paulo Costa says he wants to fight you in July. I know you want to stay busy. Does that day work for you?
Yeah, I'm free.
Thank you.
Izzy over here. Did you ultimately lose respect for Romero and his game plan, especially after everything that he said post-fight?
I think so, yeah. You just brought that question up. I'd say, yeah, I was anticlimax. I love this shit, man. I love to fight. You see me. How many times do I have to fucking bring up the Gastelum fight as a point of reference? The Robert Whittaker fight, the Brad Tavares fight. You know, like, even going to my kickboxing fights, going to my early MMA fights. You've seen me. You've seen my resume. You've seen I don't have boring fights. I look for people who want to fight. And I called out the guy that everyone is supposedly scared of. I'm like, what's so scary about him? I kicked his fucking leg. I kicked it over and over again. It was not steel. He's human. And he acts like he's this... I definitely lost respect for him. I definitely lost respect for what I thought was going to be, a really difficult challenge to overcome. And, like, it would have been really nice to do what I wanted to do, which was finish him. And I had my game plans in mind, but, yeah, he had other plans to just stand there and have his hands up.
It also seems like the blueprint for a lot of guys now is to not attack you because you're a master counter striker, and that's what you take advantage of as guys coming at you. But with Paulo Costa, do you think there's any chance that he doesn't come forward?
He's too dumb. He's gonna just Even when he fought Yorima pointed at the ground and he looked at the ground and then got struck. Like, he's just such a ignoramus buffoonus. Scientific name. Thank you guys, appreciate it. And watch out for your fucking clickbaits. Hey, the headlines. I know some of you like to use that to get some likes, but watch out. I don't want to block anyone in real life. Thank you. Sorry, Timmy. And still. Standard pose, standard fighter pose. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
And with that, this has been Jose Youngs. We're live on the scene at the UFC 248 post-fight press conference. Israel Adesanya just left his post-fight press conference. That should be the last fighter. We're going to go film the post-fight show wrap-up.